Okay, we are live at this year's SEED Virtual STEM event, and my name is Holly. I am from the Savannah River Ecology Lab, which is part of the University of Georgia, and today with me I have our wildlife ambassador, Turkey Vulture. Her name is Kathy. Kathy is short for the scientific name for Turkey Vulture, which is Cathartes aura. And in Latin, that means cleansing or purifying breeze. Hopefully by the end of today's talk, you will have a better understanding of why that's such a good description for these birds. Kathy, as an individual, can't be released back into the wild. She suffered an injury in her leg and didn't heal properly. So we use her as an ambassador to teach people about why turkey vultures are so important to our environment. Turkey vultures are the most widely distributed vulture in the New World. You can find them from southern Canada all the way to the southernmost tip of South America, and they are always in the southeastern U.S. Some migrate, but you will always see some here in the CSRA. Turkey vultures have many adaptations that help them survive in the wild. Their bodies are made to find the things they need, like food, water, and shelter. Adaptations are traits that have developed over thousands or even millions of years to help individuals survive and reproduce. Oh, this is perfect. So she's opening her wings, and I really wanted you to see this. She has light colored white feathers all along the bottom of her wing. And when you see them flying in the sky, this is how you know for sure, other than being a large bird, that this is a turkey vulture. Another relative, the black vulture, has different wings. Sorry about that. She's getting a little excited. But when turkey vultures fly in the air, sometimes they have trouble getting off the ground, so they'll do everything they can to escape as quickly as possible. And she didn't do it, but sometimes they empty their stomachs to kind of lighten the load to get up in the air. But what I wanted to talk to you today about mostly was her adaptations to survive. And turkey vultures are obligate scavengers. That means that they only eat dead carrion or dead animals. They are virtually unable to kill live animals. If you can see, she's got some pretty big talons, but they're not super sharp like a hawk's. So, and her feet are fairly weak. When they're on the ground, they hop around and don't move really gracefully. They're more like chicken feet than hawk feet. So she's not capable of tearing into live prey or even carrying it off. When turkey vultures feed, they tend to eat where they find their food. And if you take a look at that beak, it's pretty strong. So it's made for eating meat instead of nuts or fruit like other small songbirds. And again, it's not super strong. She's trying to pinch me. It's not super strong like a hawk. They prefer freshly killed meat, but sometimes they have to wait for the animal to soften up or decompose a little bit before they can break through the skin. They can't use that beak to get into thick skin. And you can see she's pecking at me. It doesn't hurt. The main reason why I'm wearing this glove is to protect my skin from poop and not necessarily from her talons or her beak. So compared to other birds, you can see she's quite large, and large bodies can go for a longer time between meals than smaller birds. If you've ever seen a hummingbird, it's probably eating. Those little birds have to eat nearly constantly to maintain their small body weight. But Turkey vultures weigh between 2 to 4 pounds. Kathy comes in at a heavier 4 pounds. She looks even heavier than that, but those feathers make her look bigger than she really is. So we have talked about how turkey vultures eat dead animals. So how do they find them? There's 3 very important characteristics that turkey vultures have to find dead animals. One is that they spend most of the day flying. The second is they use their keen eyesight to see animals, dead animals on the ground. And third, they have an extraordinary sense of smell. So to keep this large body in the air in order to find carrion, you would think it would take a lot of energy to stay aloft in the air, but it's somewhat like a kite. You take a kite and you run with it, toss it in the air, and the air currents keep the kite up high in the air. And it's similar with turkey vulture. She's got these huge, broad wings. And once she gets into the air, she finds a nice, warm, rising air current called thermals. Oftentimes you see groups of turkey vultures early in the morning spiraling up higher and higher on those air thermals to get up to an altitude where they can see very far away. And those groups of turkey vultures are called kettles, as you see them going around and around, kind of like stirring things in a kettle. And turkey vultures, they don't flap their wings very often. So you might see them in the air kind of teetering, but you will only see them flap maybe once or twice, maybe not at all, as they can go for up to 200 miles searching for food. And airplane pilots have reported them being as high as 20,000 feet in the air. That is pretty high up. But more important than her keen sense of sight is her excellent sense of smell. Turkey vultures have very well-developed olfactory systems, which is sense of smell, and even the part of their brain that is made for the sense of smell is larger than other birds. As a matter of fact, turkey vultures, the sense of smell is the most important sense they have for finding dead animals. They can even find carrion in thick woods where they wouldn't necessarily see them. She does prefer fresh meat, but because of her sense of smell, they're most likely to find the dead meat. She has some other interesting features. One is her bald red head. She looks a little bit like a turkey in that regard, and that is where they came up with the common name turkey vulture. She sometimes has to stick her head deep inside of a carcass in order to feed, and it's really convenient to not have to try to clean her head off. If she had feathers, it would be a bit of a chore. She also, this is a curious feature, in the heat of the summer, vultures are able to shunt their blood toward the smooth, bare skin. And as warm blood goes to her head might get brighter red and her feet might get brighter red, but then she will actually urinate on her legs to cool off. So when the urine evaporates, it has a pretty dramatic cooling effect. And that helps her a lot in the summertime, although it's not really good for her anklets. We have to change those anklets quite often as the urine can eat through it. The turkey vultures lay a couple of eggs in their clutch every year, and they like to roost and nest in places where there are not a lot of people. You will oftentimes, if you have ever seen a turkey vulture, you probably have seen it on the side of a road eating roadkill. that can be dangerous for them. Road collisions and aircraft collisions, things human caused, are most dangerous for turkey vultures. They have very few predators, probably because of their size, but animals such as domestic dogs, opossums, and foxes have been known to predate on eggs and hatchlings, but they are pretty free from most predators. So from the year 1989 to 1992, vultures cost the United States Air Force $21.6 million. They lost 3 aircraft due to aircraft vulture collisions. So wildlife human interactions can be a little tricky. They have been studied a lot to try to avoid those kinds of collisions. But for the most part, turkey vultures are really important for our environment. They are able to eat that rotting meat because they have a very acidic stomach, and it breaks down any potential pathogens like cholera and salmonella. So they actually clean our environment. If those animals were left on the side of the road, they could potentially make people sick as they spread. But turkey vultures are pretty much nature's garbage collectors. They keep our environment clean, reduce the risk of infection. So they are really good for us to have around. And I'd like to open it up to any questions that you might have. I love showing her off.
We have a question here. It says, how long does it take for a vulture egg to hatch?
Oh, that's a good question. I think what I read most recently was about 3 weeks. And mother and father do take turns staying at the nest while the other one is out getting food or roosting at night. A lot of times at night, even though vultures look for food by themselves, they tend to roost together. So they are somewhat social. And they do mate for life. So the females keep their mates until one of them passes away, and then they may find another mate, but in general, they mate for life. And to feed their chicks, they don't bring them back pieces of meat like other raptors do. They do what they do best, and they eat the carrion and then spit it out at the nest to feed the nestlings.
The question says, how many eggs are laid?
2, almost always 2. Every once in a while, maybe 1, possibly 3 every once in a while. If you see 4 eggs in a nest, it's likely that there's 2 different females sharing that nest. And they will nest wherever they can find a place that seems secure. So they will make their nests inside hollow trees, inside barns, even on the ground, as long as there's a little bit of shelter.
Do they have any predators?
There are some instances where predators such as foxes and opossums and domesticated dogs have predated on eggs and nestlings. So, but once they get to be full grown, they're pretty safe from everything except humans.
Are these the same type of vultures you see on the side of the road?
Yes, these you also might see their close relatives, the black vulture. Turkey vultures, as I mentioned before, have an extraordinary sense of smell. So they are often the first ones to find carrion, either on the side of the road or where they can't see it necessarily. And when a turkey vulture goes down to the carrion, other birds notice. So it doesn't take long before you have a flock of both turkey vultures and black vultures at carrion, either the side of the road or wherever they may find it. So they're kind of like the first responders. They are the first ones to find the feast. And it can be feast or famine for a turkey vulture. Depending on what she can find, what she finds is what she gets. And they have been known to even eat vegetables like rotting pumpkins in the field if carrion is unavailable. So they're pretty resourceful birds.
What is the lifespan of a turkey vulture?
I think the longest noted has been 17 years. This is an aspect that needs more study. We don't know a lot about either their migration or lifespan, so that's something that is open to more research.
I'm going to move the camera in so we can get a closer look.
She really is a beautiful bird. She has lovely dark brown, black feathers. And the red head is very distinctive. Her relative, the black vulture, they really are two different birds. They're even in a different genus. And the black vultures have dark heads, while the turkey vulture has her red head. And males and females look the same. They're very hard to tell apart. You pretty much have to do a rather intrusive procedure to figure out if you have a male or a female. We're pretty sure that Kathy's a girl, but she could be a Charlie. But turkey vultures, when you see them in the air, that distinctive white underneath the whole entire edge of her wing will let you know you have a turkey vulture. A black vulture flying in the sky only has white wingtips underneath, so you can tell the difference. And turkey vultures have very long tails compared to black vultures. Black vultures will have shorter, stubbier tails, so that's how you can tell them apart in the air even.
Someone would like to know if you can turn around to see the back.
Oh, I'll try. I don't know what she'll do, but I will try. Get a good 360 view. See how long her tail is? And when they fly, they hold their feet up underneath their tail. And if their tail goes past their feet, it's a turkey vulture. If their feet go to the end of their tail, it's a black vulture. Ooh, we can maybe get a good, she's gonna close her wings. I don't know if you can see with the close-up, but you can see right through her nose. Her nostrils are open all the way through. We have a divider between ours, but turkey vultures, the air can move right through their nose, and that helps their sense of smell. They can smell carrion from a mile away. Any little particle of scent, and if it's within a mile, they can detect it, which is really quite extraordinary.
One new question, it says, how high is their intelligence compared to humans?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd say for a bird, they're pretty smart, but I don't know that we know. I don't know that they have been put through rigorous intelligence testing like other birds like crows. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'll have to find that out.
All the questions we have.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. I hope you have a better understanding of why turkey vultures are our friends and we like to have them around, and how it would be a pretty bad thing if we didn't. So thanks again. Have a great afternoon.